Welcome.
Great. Super. Well, thank you very much. Austin, I'm so excited to talk with you because the time component piece of this is so urgent. 2030 is 6.5 years around the corner, but we really don't even have that kind of time, right? The IPCC tells us that we need to peak at 2025, we need to reduce 50% by 2030, and we need to be at net zero really no later than 2050,
Correct.
but ideally 2040 or sooner.
Yeah.
So give me a sense, we work with a lot of companies that are trying to get their arms around this. Businesses are setting net zero goals, teams are setting net zero goals, leagues are setting net zero goals. We're sitting here in Climate Pledge Arena where they're taking it very seriously. What are some solutions that you have found that are really going to help us get there?
Yeah. Overall, our company as a whole, we do a lot of different things. We wear a lot of different hats. We have quite a large portfolio of renewable energy credits and renewable natural gas, carbon offsets, any green commodity you can think of. These are the tools that you need at the end of the day to implement and achieve your net zero strategy. But it's a lot of the conversations that I've been having with a lot of the individuals and teams and companies outside of this arena as well, across all different industries. It's starting to take action and realize what your impact is, and then set that strategy, reach out for help, and then also take the steps necessary in order to achieve those sustainability goals. But what we've seen a lot, which is the unfortunate pattern, is the measurement aspect, where it's a daunting task. It really is. And a lot of these companies and teams and arenas are sitting there saying, okay, we understand what our impact is, our negative impact on the environment. What do we do next? And that's where I'm seeing a lot of the lag and stall that is creating some problems and delays in this process, which those timelines may not be met.
So tell me a little bit more about the measurement. How do you take somebody through, really starting to get their arms around what their scope 1, 2, and 3 is? And how do you start, taking that next step and setting the goals? Walk me through that.
Yeah. The awareness of scope 1 and 2 are very prevalent, and I don't want to say easy, but it's more of the feasible targets that you can achieve and realize, and then the dreaded scope 3, which everyone is grinding their teeth at, that they're really don't know how to tackle it, because it really is a daunting number. But how can they achieve these different things? But when it comes to measurement, you need to understand that you really have to look inward and say, okay, what can we do with insetting? What can we do with different operations that we have within our facilities and within our day-to-day operations? And then what else can't be met is what needs to be covered with the credits and with other procurement strategies that you need to do. But what we can't forget is that although the first step is to look inward and try and make efficiencies within your arenas and within your operations, you can't forget about the rest and promoting development. And sustainability is a very new market in the U.S. It's been around for decades in Europe, which is where our firm is from, where I was trained and where I used to live in Amsterdam, trying to help start this initiative and bring it to the United States. But people often get caught up in the media and the press of credits and greenwashing and what are we doing, but we need to promote sustainable development, and these developers need to get paid in order to continue to develop a greener grid and and more carbon offset projects and newer technologies. So we can't stall at one step. You need to incorporate all steps into the process in order to promote such development and have a more sustainable future.
One of the things that you shared with me that was really fascinating was, a lot of people are trying to get their arms around this right now, right? So let's figure out what our inventory is, and then let's figure out how are we going to address that. There's the things you can do internally, there's ways that you can partner with others. Help us understand a little bit more about what some of those different options are and how you engage others really in developing those projects.
Yeah, the good thing is that you have a lot of resources. What I've seen a lot of massive organizations do is to say, we have resources internally, we have capital, we have budget, we can apply that to developing new teams, but then who do you hire? A lot of these chief sustainability officers, a lot of these heads of sustainability, heads of procurement are all individuals that call us and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's okay. And you should reach out to the consulting firms, to firms like ours that have been doing this for a living. We are not sports teams. We are not Amazon. We are sustainability professionals. We're the nerds. Use us. And this is a thing that you need to look at to get these solutions and then get to your targets in an efficient and cost-effective way, because the longer you're delaying, the more the costs are going up. And that's another main issue that I'm seeing within the audience and again, outside this arena within all different industries as well.
Right. Well, certainly bringing finance to the table early and often is a very wise, kind of partner with the sustainability professional. I mean, you were sharing with me earlier just some of those as we're starting to think about what we're going to do next, right? And we're putting the plans in place. Planning can take a while, right? Putting the right plan in place is critical, but what you really were stressing was how we need to escalate that and accelerate our timelines to do it, because it's just getting more expensive to be able to address some of the big issues we have.
Right. And listen, we, as a firm, I mean, we started about 20 years ago in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and it was right around the Kyoto Protocol. So what that meant was that we've seen a market be implemented and then grow. And how does it grow? It grows through government intervention. It grows through having different development companies enter the market and then increase development. But then what comes then is more corporations coming in saying, we want these products. So more demand. And what happens when the demand is increasing faster than the supply? A lot of chaos. And what we've been able to do as a firm, and what we've been able to implement in the US, and how we've been able to help so many different organizations across all different industries, is forecast and use our 20 years of data to see what has happened over Europe and how it can be implemented into the US. And it's also following the same exact pattern, but at 3 times the pace. So what we're here to do is just to help create that impact that you can, again, in a fast and cost-effective way. But with this government intervention, with this increased development and increased demand from this entire audience here, it's really important to understand that the longer you wait, the higher the costs are going to go, and you can't sit on the sidelines anymore. And it's really going to have a negative impact on all of you. And also, of course, you have sustainability teams or procurement managers, but you need to end up passing this past C-suite. And who is the C-suite you need to pass it through? Is the CFO. Can I get the budget to make this happen? Budget, cost. That's what's going to happen at the end of the day. And we shouldn't have those impacts and those struggles hold us back from the livelihood of our organizations and this planet.
Well, and the regulatory piece is one part of it, but then there's that incentive piece as well, right?
Yep.
And so we were talking about the opportunities with things like the Inflation Reduction Act, and one of the real tenets of that is about how you engage your community,
Yep.
and you bring others to the table with you in developing those projects. So a lot of the projects we've been talking about these last couple of days would seem like great opportunities to be able to say, let's look at how we engage our corporate partners, how we engage our community, how we engage our team, and our fans,
Right.
and really find a fit for us that's both helping us address our carbon issues, but also helping us address our community.
Yeah, and of course, yes, I'm talking about costs. I'm trying to scare you into saying, okay, it's time to act now. And it is. But at the end of the day, can you benefit? Of course you can. There's, with the IRA, with the Inflation Reduction Act, you can benefit from taxes. You can develop your own facilities. And also, the main point that we want to see here is community impact. Impact. It's highlighted in every single, graphic around this arena. That's what needs to happen. And you can do this through investment, and also you can profit a little bit along the way if you'd like. But what can you do with that profit is you can put it back into your organization, or you can put a portion back in, and you can give back to your communities that are surrounding your sports organizations. And that's what the incentives are trying to be created through the government impact, but also more education and more people actually taking the reins and saying, we're going to go and we're going to do it. And be loud, showcase it, show what you've done, across your other organizations, your competitors, the other teams. Say, we did it first. But also, it's not something that is going to be fully, based on cost. But unfortunately, you're going to have to get around some costs in order to make some profit and some good impact at the end of the day.
One of the hesitancies that we've seen is people are afraid to go out with a big, bold goal unless they know that they can achieve it.
Yeah.
Right? And part of that is that kind of chicken and egg, right? You go with a goal and figure out how you're going to do it. But we are seeing more kind of corporate partners have their net zero goals. Leagues are setting not only net zero goals, but expectations. Fans have, expectations and such.
Right.
So how are you advising your clients on, how to go about setting that goal and getting comfortable with the fact that they can achieve it?
I mean, everyone has, across the room, some, very nice goals. I mean, we're going to be net zero by 2030, 2040, whatever it might be. But, they all sound nice. But it's not chicken or egg. It basically needs to happen at the same exact time, where someone needs to set the goal, set the intention, and take action. This is not something that can happen, it needs to happen all in tandem. It can't happen one after another, and you need to have an all-in, buy-in from your entire organization, your team, to really go and make that impact.
Right, right. Are you seeing organizations going to the point of actually trying to get set science-based targets and such to really kind of solidify those goals?
Yeah. I mean, the SBTI guidelines are definitely great to add some transparency and clarity, but they are ever evolving. So it is important to stick with what your goals are and continue to move forward with them.
From a sustainability perspective, what do you recommend to people in the room here?
Yeah, and this is a very eye-opening moment for me, and one that frankly pissed me off when I got here. And it's that a lot of these conversations I had last year. I spoke in a panel last year, and individuals saying, what, we're gonna set our targets. It's it's a 2 to 5 year strategy. It's going to be a lot of work, but next year we're gonna have some more progress made towards it. About 50% of the conversations I had here, there's been zero progress made, and it's really disheartening. And we all are the problem in the room. I'm the problem, you're the problem as individuals, as organizations, as companies, but we need to identify it. And we need to understand and look inward that yes, we have to do our measurement, and we have to understand that this is our impact. But to relate it back to sports, our teams, our athletes, they don't wait for talent to come to win a championship. They go out, develop the talent, and they win a championship as soon as they possibly can. We all need to do that. There's not this competitive aspect in the room I'm seeing. This is sports. Come on. We need to get that energy up, and we need to really start making that impact. And I really hope I don't have these conversations this time next year. And please realize that we have a lot of firms out here that are here to help, and we need to make this impact. And the time is now. So thank you all very much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Austin. It was a pleasure.